Spotting National Electrical Code violations requires a keen eye and a thorough understanding of electrical standards. In this scenario, 12 distinct violations are present, each potentially posing safety risks or compromising the integrity of the electrical system. Firstly, consider wiring methods. The National Electrical Code specifies acceptable wiring methods for different environments and applications. Violations may arise from using the wrong type of cable, improper support, or inadequate protection against physical damage. For example, non-metallic sheath cable, commonly known as NM cable, is suitable for dry locations within walls, floors, or ceilings. However, using NM cable in exposed or wet locations would constitute a violation. Similarly, exposed cables must be properly supported at intervals specified by the National Electrical Code, typically every 4.5 feet for horizontal runs and within 12 inches of boxes or fittings. Failure to provide adequate support can lead to strain on conductors, insulation damage, and potential fire hazards. Furthermore, the National Electrical Code mandates that cables passing through holes in wood framing members be protected from sharp edges by bushings or grommets. This prevents abrasion of the cable insulation, which could result in short circuits or ground faults. Secondly, examine overcurrent protection. Circuit breakers and fuses are essential components for protecting electrical circuits from overloads and short circuits. The National Electrical Code dictates the proper sizing of overcurrent protection devices based on the ampacity of the conductors they protect. Using an overcurrent device that is too large can allow excessive current to flow through the circuit, potentially causing overheating, insulation damage, and fires. Conversely, an undersized overcurrent device may trip unnecessarily, interrupting power to essential equipment. The National Electrical Code also requires that overcurrent devices be readily accessible and clearly labeled to indicate the circuits they protect. This ensures that electricians can quickly identify and energize circuits for maintenance or troubleshooting purposes. Furthermore, the National Electrical Code prohibits the use of damaged or tampered with overcurrent devices, as they may not provide adequate protection. Thirdly, scrutinize grounding and bonding. Grounding and bonding are critical for electrical safety, providing a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source. This helps to quickly trip over current devices and prevent electrical shock hazards. The National Electrical Code specifies the requirements for grounding electrodes, grounding conductors, and bonding conductors. Grounding electrodes, such as ground rods or metallic water pipes, must be properly installed and connected to the electrical system. Grounding conductors must be sized appropriately based on the size of the ungrounded conductors. Bonding conductors are used to connect metallic enclosures, equipment, and other conductive parts to the grounding system, ensuring that they are at the same electrical potential. Violations related to grounding and bonding can include improper grounding electrode installation, undersized grounding conductors, missing bonding connections, or the use of improper bonding methods. Fourthly, assess wiring connections. Proper wiring connections are essential for ensuring reliable electrical service and preventing loose connections, which can cause overheating, arcing, and fires. The National Electrical Code specifies the requirements for making electrical connections, including the use of approved connectors, proper wire stripping techniques, and adequate tightening of terminals. Wire connectors must be listed for the type of conductors being connected and must be sized appropriately for the number and size of wires. Wire stripping must be performed carefully to avoid nicking or damaging the conductors. Terminals must be tightened to the manufacturer's specified torque to ensure a secure connection. Violations related to wiring connections can include loose connections, improper wire stripping, the use of unapproved connectors, or overfilling of boxes. Fifthly, inspect box fill. Electrical boxes provide enclosures for wiring connections and devices, such as switches and receptacles. The National Electrical Code limits the number of conductors, devices, and fittings that can be installed in a box to prevent overcrowding and ensure proper heat dissipation. Box fill calculations are based on the size of the box, the size of the conductors, and the number of devices and fittings. Violations related to box fill can include overfilling of boxes, improper use of box extenders, or the use of boxes that are not rated for the intended application. Sixthly, evaluate clearances. The National Electrical Code specifies minimum clearances for electrical equipment to ensure safe access for maintenance and to prevent accidental contact with energized parts. Clearances are required around electrical panels, transformers, and other equipment. Violations related to clearances can include obstructed access to electrical equipment, inadequate working space, or the installation of equipment in locations that do not meet the required clearances. Seventhly, identify damaged equipment. Damaged electrical equipment, such as cracked receptacles, broken switches, or frayed cords, can pose serious safety hazards. The National Electrical Code requires that damaged equipment be repaired or replaced promptly. Violations related to damaged equipment can include the use of equipment with visible damage, the failure to repair or replace damaged equipment, or the use of improper repair methods. Eighthly, confirm proper labeling. Proper labeling of electrical equipment is essential for identifying circuits, voltages, and other important information. The National Electrical Code requires that electrical panels, circuits, and equipment be clearly and accurately labeled. Violations related to labeling can include missing labels, illegible labels, or inaccurate labels. Ninthly, verify GFCI protection. Ground fault circuit interrupters, commonly known as GFCIs, are life-saving devices that protect against electrical shock hazards. The National Electrical Code requires GFCI protection in certain locations, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. Violations related to GFCI protection can include the absence of GFCI protection in required locations, the use of non-GFCI receptacles in GFCI-protected circuits, or the failure to test GFCI devices regularly. Tenthly, assess FSI protection. Arc fault circuit interrupters, commonly known as FSIs, are devices that protect against electrical fires caused by arcing faults. The National Electrical Code requires FSI protection in certain locations, such as bedrooms and living rooms. Violations related to FSI protection can include the absence of FSI protection in required locations, the use of non-FSI circuit breakers in FSI-protected circuits, or the failure to test FSI devices regularly. 11thly, consider equipment listing and labeling. The National Electrical Code requires that electrical equipment be listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory, such as underwriters' laboratories or electrical testing laboratories. Listing and labeling indicate that the equipment has been tested and meets safety standards. Violations related to equipment listing and labeling can include the use of unlisted or unlabeled equipment, the use of equipment that is not rated for the intended application, or the alteration of listed equipment. 12thly, evaluate adherence to specific National Electrical Code articles. The National Electrical Code is organized into articles that cover specific topics, such as wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding and bonding, and equipment installation. Violations can occur when the requirements of specific National Electrical Code articles are not met. For example, National Electrical Code Article 310.15 provides guidance on conductor ampacity, while National Electrical Code Article 250 covers grounding and bonding requirements. Identifying National Electrical Code violations requires a comprehensive understanding of electrical standards and attention to detail. By carefully examining wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding and bonding, wiring connections, box fill, clearances, damaged equipment, labeling, GFCI protection, FSI protection, equipment listing and labeling, and adherence to specific National Electrical Code articles, potential violations can be identified and corrected to ensure electrical safety and compliance. Remember to always consult the latest edition of the National Electrical Code and to seek guidance from qualified electrical professionals when needed.